I feel like this is one of the funniest ones, to be honest with you. There was a lot going on, but it pretty much focused on Ern, Alan, Darius, and a serial killer that seems to have an issue with anyone that made or cranked that video at some point in time. What we learned through the laughter and the what TF moments per Atlanta was that Darius has no issue doing something strange for sneakers. Al still has a few issues left going on in these streets, and Ern is a better friend than most of us. Let's talk about it.
My hand, yeah, take my hand. Follow me, yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
To the sand.
Happy Saturday, digital family. I'm still bouncing off the walls from my birthday this past Monday, but I had to take a moment to take about the latest adventures in the world of Atlanta. So for those who are new to the channel, appreciate you. Please subscribe, like, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. For all of my day ones, you are loved and appreciated as usual. A few quick I live in Atlanta things before I dive into my thoughts about this latest episode. When Darius says that I thought CNN was just a place where you play in the fountains, he was referring to Centennial Park, which is in downtown Atlanta, downtown, midtown, whatever, whoever you're asked. The fountains are right in front of the CNN building, so it's understandable that the younger generation only knows CNN for that more than news. The other thing, if a shooting really did happen in the mall, you'd see several people pulling out guns and start to shoot back. Especially here in Atlanta, where guns are pretty much a religion. The scene is funny, but terrifyingly accurate. Okay, I got that out the way. Let's dive in. I think a majority, or I think I should say I'm in the majority, when I say that I'm really going to miss this show when it wraps up. I can't think, or I can't remember a show that made me laugh, think more, yell more than the show Atlanta. The Crank Dat Killer episode brings Al, Ern, and Darius together to discuss the possibility of there really being a killer that's focused on anyone that's ever made a Crank Dat video. Crank Dat by Soulja Boy, oh, all of that stuff. So for Darius and Ern, this is just all fun and games. It's funny, it's laughter, until Al remembers that he did do a Crank Dat video in the past. So you can really see the reality of what he had done in the past really began to weigh on him throughout the episode, and his past catches up with him in other ways as well. So I think that's kind of a correlation, but more on that in a second. He had so much anxiety, I should say, around it, that he actually reached out to the king of crank himself, or Crank Dad himself, Big Draco, aka Soulja Boy, to get his take on if this is something he really should be worried about, or if he should just, kind of keep it moving. Watching Soulja Boy give Al the game just really felt so authentic. The whole conversation was great. Soulja Boy really gave him some game in terms of, some things he should consider. And Soulja Boy pretty much reacted exactly the way I would think that he would act on it. And he gave him some game on the necessity of having a safe farm that you can depend upon. More on that in a minute. Meanwhile, we do get to see Darius and Ern hang out in search of limited Nike drops. So basically, they're looking for some limited Nikes that are sold on the net. It's sold out, and so they were kind of scourging in the city looking for some things. And in any city, especially here in the A, you can pretty much buy anything you want to find or get anything you want to get as long as you're willing to pay the price. Well, we see this play out as Darius and Ern meet up with the shoe guy who operates out of his van. That's what he's doing. Super shady, as he has them get into the van to conduct the business. See, that would have been the end of the transaction for me right there. He's got the shoes that they're looking for, but he gives them a very, once again, interesting price in which they were not expecting at all. Basically, when he says to him that his price is them kissing each other in the backseat for 8 minutes, man, listen. You could clearly see right in that scene the different perspectives that Ern and Darius had on that whole situation. Darius, surprisingly but not surprisingly, clearly has no issues with doing something out of the norm for a pair of Nike Limiteds. Ern represents kind of the other side of the coin. He kind of represented every other person that may not be open or as open to unusual acts. His facial expressions, along with his reasons as to why he didn't want to do it, made the scene even funnier. What made it hilarious and took it over to a whole different level is if they had just haggled with that guy for a little while longer, they couldn't have gotten out of the whole ordeal with just seeing a little bit of blood splatter. But the fact that Shoe Man was excited and turned up the music as they were about to make out to, I think, what was it, Casey and JoJo's All My Life. Man, listen, that was weird, funny. It was everything. That was like one of the best scenes from Atlanta, I think, in a long time. Very, very funny. Meanwhile, Atlanta, I should say Al, tries to go incognito at the mall and ends up running into an old street beef that really creates a very intense scene. This misdirect is really brilliant, but the acting brings this violent ordeal to life more so. Thank goodness that everybody's aim is terrible, as it usually is, and the aspiring rapper on the scene deserves to get all the credit for still shooting his shot while the shots rang out. Props to the spirit of the unsigned rapper. They will not be denied, and for that, we love you to death. Hip hop forever. Anyway, after all this insanity kind of took place, as usual, the crew kind of gets back and they go to Al's house, or they kind of reconvene at the end of it. And I think they just kind of debrief about the day, kind of what's going on. Al sums his day up by saying that he ran into somebody that he had beef with back in the day, and they still seem to be a little upset. In usual form, Al kind of just deals with crazy situations like that in a matter-of-fact type of way, and kind of continues to keep moving with his life like it's a lunch date or something like that. So he sums up someone shooting at him all throughout the mall as, yeah, I think that dude's still mad. Crazy. Darius talks about the Nike exclusives he just got. It's almost some, look at my footwork, and how he, was comfortable doing something a little bit different for them. Whereas you could see the camera pan to Earn, who is clearly not comfortable with what they had to do in order to get those Nikes, or what they had to see. But once again, the differences between how Earn saw it and how Darius viewed it, absolutely completely opposite. Always a full take of weird, but that's why I do love this show. But what did you think about it? Did you find any hidden messages? Is Al's past going to continue to kind of catch up with him? Is Darius sexually fluid? Will Al, or I should say, will Earn ever recover from that crazy experience? Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend.